Millionaires are leaving the US. According to a recent report, the number of people trying to leave the United States has risen 500% in the past 5 years. Let's take a look at the biggest reasons why so many wealthy Americans are eager to leave the country and why you should be worried as well. Starting off with taxes. Taxes are on the rise again. Just this year, California, a state with one of the highest tax rates, increased its state tax by another 8%. On the other side of the country, New York is increasing its corporate taxes by nearly 20%. This has resulted in a situation where many of the wealthiest Americans are paying over half of their income in taxes. In fact, in places like LA and New York, two of the biggest cities in America, even moderately successful people get 50 to 60% of their wealth stolen away in taxes every single year. And that's not all. These changes are also being applied at the federal level. Just a few months ago, the Biden administration revealed its financial plan for 2025. This plan included a proposal to increase capital gains taxes to a whopping 44.6%, the highest it's ever been in the country's history. And it's already a surprise, the country's debt rates are already at an all-time high, and if all this continues, the market will have no choice but to potentially collapse. Now, if all of that wasn't enough, there's also the complete lack of security. America is experiencing higher rates of crime and violence than many third world countries. Gun violence has become part of everyday life. You can't even go a week without hearing about some new school shooting in the news, and those are just a few of the ones that get reported. The situation is so bad that just last year, some 48,000 people ended up being the victims of murder through firearms alone. Violent crime in general has also increased to rates that have never been seen before, leading to a situation where over 30% of all Americans report that they or someone close to them experienced a violent crime in the past year. And these increases are not limited to specific areas or bad neighborhoods. Even people living in affluent, upmarket neighborhoods fear for their safety. In the past year alone, robberies have gone up by 21%. And if experts are to be believed, the situation will only continue to grow worse in the coming few years. These increases in crime have also been paired with a historic rise in homelessness. Just last year, the number of total homeless people in America reached a record high, with some 650,000 people living on the streets and making life unsafe for millions more. This is also contributing to another problem: drug abuse. More people than ever before are getting involved in the use and trade of dangerous substances. In fact, the US recently set a new record in deaths due to drug overdoses, with over 100,000 people falling victim to this issue in 1 year alone. Both these issues have made life harder and more dangerous to live than ever before. Pair that with the increase in taxes, as well as the rising inflation and cost of living, and it's no wonder that people are leaving. But that's not all. You see, the American government actually knows all of this, and what is their response? To tax you no matter where you go. Even if you do manage to relocate to a different country, the US still wants your taxes. The US is one of very few countries that taxes citizens regardless of where they are in the world. And if you end up making a mistake during the filing process, which is not unlikely if you're living abroad and doing the entire process from overseas, the IRS may even revoke your passport and send you to jail. I'm not making this up. This is a clause specified by US regulations, and it has happened to many people in the past. All of this points towards one thing: being a US citizen is something that is going to cost you money, safety, and stability. There are better places to move. That being said, leaving the US is not impossible right now, and by taking the right steps, many US citizens are leaving the country every year. California alone lost some 75,000 people in 2023 due to tax changes, and most of these people were actually high net worth individuals. The US as a whole is experiencing a mass migration away from the country, with hundreds of thousands of people projected to move away. Most of these people are opting for business-friendly countries like the United Arab Emirates. As of right now, as long as you're willing to renounce your US citizenship entirely, you can gain residency and citizenship in any one of these countries and enjoy completely zero taxes and a better standard of life. Starting $100,000 US, you can gain a second citizenship from places like Antigua and Barbuda and pair that with a Dubai residency in less than 10 days. This would allow you to live in one of the safest and most productive countries in the world, all whilst paying absolutely zero personal income taxes. This is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these issues. In fact, most major countries in the West, like the UK or even Canada, are all going downhill. If you want to learn more about what's happening in these countries, feel free to subscribe and check out some of my other videos on the channel.